I was hoping to have Nostalgia Month wrapped up before December 1st. But for those of you who are new here, you should know that if something can go wrong in my life, it will. Anyway, let's talk about Sonic Boom. Not the video game, thank God, but the show. And you know what? I fucking love Sonic Boom. Released in 2014, Sonic Boom was a part of a spin-off series made for a Western audience. Yeah, you know that whole rant I went on in my Sonic X review about how Americans refuse to accept other cultures? Well, this is what happens when a shitty corporation chops apart an anime. They make a different, westernized version of said character because they have no faith in America. Not the first time that's happened. Definitely won't be the last. I'm gonna get this out of the way right now. The music in Sonic Boom is pretty forgettable. The opening theme is instrumental music that you won't think twice about, and most of the background music is the same. I did notice they will occasionally take songs like, for instance, Staying Alive, or the theme from Lawrence of Arabia, and twist it around a bit. Like, you can tell what the song's supposed to be, but they're clearly trying to avoid copyright. I feel like, in terms of the weaker things in this show, the music is the worst. It isn't bad, it's just, all the other Sonic cartoons had such memorable music, and this one doesn't. Sonic Boom holds the distinction of being the very first computer-generated Sonic cartoon, and the animation works okay. It does have that Korean sweatshop feel to it, and while it is kind of stiff in the first couple of episodes, it gets better and it has a great deal of color and bounce later on in the series. For instance, whenever Sonic spin dashes or runs fast, the animation's very smooth. It does seem pretty cheap, and it sometimes can look a little plastic, but it's better than some other shows I've seen. Like that 3D Garfield abomination. When it comes to cheap CG, this one's more on the upper end. In my review of Sonic X, I stated that I preferred Jason Griffith over the other English voice actors who have portrayed Sonic in the past, and I still stand by that. However, I love Roger Craig Smith in Sonic Boom. All of the actors do a great job, and you can tell they had a lot of fun with their roles. But I feel like Smith does a better job here than he did in the video games. Sonic Boom is built in a way that he has more freedom to express his acting range, and while a lot of people don't like his deep voice or his more sarcastic take on Sonic, I think he's great. Honestly, I prefer him over Jaleel White. If I had to make a list, Smith would probably be number 2. His voice is different from the other actors before him, and he gives Sonic a more mature, snarky edge that even Griffith was lacking. Also, as a side note, Smith also voices several side characters in Sonic Boom as well, so the dude has some serious range. As for the others, they all do really good. I can't think of a single performance that's bad. Though, I will say that, for everyone involved, Mike Pollock stole the show as Eggman. He's been voicing Eggman since 2004, I believe? He was originally a part of the 4Kids cast, and even though Sega held auditions for Eggman when they replaced the 4Kids cast, they stuck with Pollock because no one can voice the character like he can. Much like Smith, Sonic Boom gives Pollock more space to stretch his wings. He has great comedic timing, but I feel like Sonic X and the games didn't give him the proper material to show that. The guy's great. He brightens up even the most guttural of cartoons. If I had a top 10 list of my favorite cartoon voices, he'd probably be on there. He's awesome. And, another side note, he also voices several side characters in Sonic Boom. The entire cast is pretty versatile. Let's start with the elephant in the room. Or the big red echidna. Knuckles underwent a drastic change from Sonic X to Sonic Boom. Instead of being a gullible but well-meaning guy who's tasked with protecting the Master Emerald, he's a dumbass meathead with the IQ of a wet noodle. I can see why fans of the character were pissed, but frankly, I think he's fine as far as meatheads go. His dumb guy humor has charm to it, and those who are pissed, keep in mind that he has since been changed back to his original state for Sonic Forces, so you can get off the hate train. Styx the Badger is one of the brand new characters that was introduced into the main cast. She's a paranoid badger who's constantly worried something or someone is out to get her. I find that her and Knuckles' brand of humor is very hit or miss. Sometimes the paranoia and dumb guy humor works really well when I laugh, and other times it feels very try-hard and kind of weak. There are several new side characters as well. There are the Gogobas, a group of chinchillas that manipulates people through guilt, which makes for some pretty good comedy. Lady Walrus and her sons, one of which is constantly being put in danger. We have Leroy the Turtle, the Lightning Bolt Society, Dave the Intern, Comedy Chimp, Morpheo, hell, even Vector the Crocodile shows up halfway through Season 2. The minor cast is many. There are many people in the background. But, unlike Sonic X, it doesn't feel too bloated. The focus is on the main cast, and the minor characters show up when they're needed. Now, obviously, the show isn't perfect, and there are a couple of characters I don't like. The first being Metal Sonic. As a kid, Metal Sonic creeped me out, and even as an adult, there's just something behind his unblinking stare that rubs me the wrong way. In Sonic Boom, he's more of a comedic villain, which I don't think suits him. To me, Metal Sonic was always a villain to be feared, and they stripped that away for the sake of comedy. I'm not enraged by it, I just don't like how he was used. Speaking of which, let's talk Shadow. Yeah, Shadow's in this, and he's used for fan service and nothing more. He appears in the Season 1 and Season 2 finales, and he's wasted. I could go on a rant about how they took this complex character and turned him into a joke, but considering I told Knuckles fans to get off the hate train, I don't want to look like a hypocrite. If they wanted to turn Shadow into comedic villain, then fine. This is kind of a parallel universe anyway, so I don't think any of this is canon. However, the whole dark, brooding shit just doesn't work here. In the Season 2 finale, he says he wants to get revenge and make the universe pay, except there's no reason for him to want that in this iteration. In Sonic X, he wanted revenge because Maria was killed. So they took Shadow, they kept the revenge angle, but they took out Maria or any other reason for him to want revenge. Case in point, he's just a dick for the sake of being a dick. Which, okay, that could work. But it doesn't. He isn't funny. He just stands around looking angry and occasionally beats the shit out of Sonic. This might have been okay if the characters around him bounced humor off of him or used his stoic personality as a means for mockery, but they don't. Shadow only exists for fan service. He isn't menacing, he isn't funny, and sadly his episodes are some of the weakest in the series. The good news is, he's only in about 3 episodes. The bad news is, they're the season finales. He literally shows up, beats the shit out of people, says, "I'll be back," and vanishes. Frankly, I don't think he should have even been in the show, but if he was going to, you could have at least utilized his potential. In terms of story, Sonic Boom reminds me a little of Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. It's a comedy through and through. However, as far as comedy goes, I love how it cares enough to actually be funny. I laughed my ass off watching this. Season 2 is a bit more self-aware than Season 1, and there are dud episodes, but even in those dud episodes, there's always something to laugh about. The cast does a fantastic job delivering their lines, and it adds a nice sting at the end of each joke. I also really like Amy in this. This probably should have been said when I was talking about characters, but I don't mind her here. She is more of a character outside of loving Sonic, and she's more independent. This is also my favorite voice for Amy as well. I have nothing against the 4Kids voice for her, or even the voice for Amy in Sonic Adventure 1, 2, and in Sonic Heroes. But they were both kinda grating. That's not their fault. They likely went into auditions with that voice, and the casting director said, yes, use that voice, that's Amy. Apparently, the woman who voiced Amy in Sonic X, Lisa Ortiz, I think. Ortiz, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Apparently she loved the role, according to what I read on the Sonic Wiki. And if she did, good for her. I just didn't like her take on it. Another thing I love about this show is how it doesn't resort to outright toilet humor. It's very self-aware. It pokes fun at social problems, and it does a good job of it. It also has nods to adults, in certain episodes like Dude, Where's My Eggman?, How to Succeed in Evil Without Really Trying, Hedgehog Day, Chili Dog Day Afternoon, and my personal favorite, It Wasn't Me, It Was the One-Armed Hedgehog. All of these titles are based on movies that young children haven't likely seen, but adults can get a good chuckle out of. One of my favorite Season 1 episodes is titled Just a Guy, which is an episode about how Sonic retires from heroing because he said a simple phrase and now everyone wants his head on a plate. It pokes fun at hypersensitivity, which is something our culture is steeped in. Another episode, simply titled Unnamed Episode from Season 2, pokes fun at how the democratic system doesn't always work the way we want it to. And by far my absolute favorite episode of either season is Season 2, Episode 5. Sonic's kidnapped by a crazed fan and is forced to read fan fiction. This is clearly the show poking fun at hardcore Sonic fans and how obsessed they can get. It's hilarious. Like I said, this reminds me a lot of Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, but more refined. It isn't mass chaos, there is method to the madness. The comedy is clever and sharp. It doesn't always land, and as I said, there are some duds here and there, but for a show that could have followed the route of toilet humor, it's genuinely funny, and you can tell the writers have some serious comedy chops. So yeah, there really isn't much else to talk about here. I feel like this show will be in 20 years what Sad AM is now. People will look back and say, yeah, that show was funny. It was really good. This is another cult hit in the making. It isn't perfect, as I said. Sometimes the comedy doesn't land, the animation can be a little plastic, and there are some episodes that are just overall kinda stupid. But if you want a show that's self-aware, sarcastic, and with great acting, check this one out. It isn't just a good Sonic cartoon, it's a great cartoon in general that respects its audience while making them laugh. It's good for kids and adults, and in my opinion, it's one of those cartoons that deserves far more attention than it receives. In terms of where it places on my list of best to worst, it does for comedy what Sad AM did for drama. I'm gonna go ahead and tie it for first. Cheap cop-out? Maybe, but it just isn't second place material to me. However, it also isn't better than Sad AM. With that said, in my opinion, for all of Nostalgia Month, Sonic Boom and Sad AM are the best Sonic cartoons. If you want to laugh your ass off, watch Sonic Boom. If you want something more dark, edgy, and realistic, watch Sad AM. Both are well written and treat their audience with the respect they deserve. Stay tuned. I have my countdown lists coming up here shortly for December, and I do plan on doing a review of the Sonic OVA anime movie for Christmas. If you like what you see here, comment below. Don't forget to subscribe, of course. Like the video if you want, and I'll see you guys next time. Styx the Badger is another new character introduced to the main cast. Rupert? That's my cat that you just heard. What? I'm busy. I'm very busy right now. You have food in your bowl. Want to tell the audience why you're interrupting me? Huh? No? Alright. Got my cat here. You want to say hi, Rupee? Is that hello in cat language? Do you want me to put you down? Say hi. He just... I'll put you down. He bumped his nose against the microphone. I love you, Ruby Dupes. Want me to put you down now? Alright.